It's officially the first day of spring in the Northern Hemisphere, although it still looks like the dead of winter where I am in Canada. The only sign that spring is coming are the new animals that have emerged to peek around and look for food. Like the autumn, spring is one of those transitional seasons where you can just feel things changing in such a beautiful way. I love watching the little wildflowers burst through small patches of snow, and you can just feel that something good is about to be accomplished. Although it'll probably be another month before I can see any wildflowers growing outside. I can't help but be slightly disappointed that we still have a blanket of snow covering everything here, and even as I speak, it is softly snowing outside, but I hope it doesn't stick because I am ready to move on into the next season. I think that especially during this time, this slow transition into spring, is a great time to be practicing hygge. Hygge is a Danish concept that essentially means a feeling of coziness and contentment. Now, in the wintertime, it was so much easier for me to practice feeling this hygge spirit because I feel like the winter time is just set up to feel that way with the culture and traditions that surround the winter holidays. You just can't help but to feel cozy and that contentment inside of you. But this season, I found myself struggling as we creeped towards spring so slowly. I'm finding it hard to appreciate the wait. So while I wait for the visual signs of spring to appear, I'm going to try to practice more contentment in the season I'm in now. So I made a list of the things that make me feel this cozy contentment in the springtime. I feel like there's an obvious list when you look up hygge. It's people under cozy blankets by a fire drinking a cup of hot cocoa or tea. And while that is all so cozy, for me in this season, the things that bring me that quiet comfort are a little bit different. So on my list, I have things like enjoying fresh flowers and spending time arranging them, putting care into that act. I found this really sad bunch of tulips at the grocery store, and my hope was that I could revive them with a good trim and a good glass of cold water. And they actually did look pretty well after 24 hours sitting in this vase. It was a really rough winter season in my own personal household, not just with the weather, but we had a lot of illness and injury, and spring coming, it just feels like a new beginning. I know that's a cliche to say, but it just really is turning over a new leaf and taking care of the living things around me, whether that's a plant or the other person in my household, is just really bringing me a sense of contentment. And although I've been trying to practice contentment and appreciation for the present state I'm in now, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking forward to better times. I think sometimes when we're in really dark places, hope is all we have, and the only solace we get is when we're thinking about better times. In my case, my husband was really injured in the winter and spent a bit of time in the hospital. All we really had to cling to was hope. He was devastated because life suddenly changed in an instant, and all the plans we had made and all the memories we'd hoped to make together that season just had to wait. And what got us through those times were thinking about the spring and the summer and when things would be back to normal and what we could do. So now that that season's finally coming, it's really exciting to look forward to those plans we'd made in the past coming to fruition now in the future. Taking some time to do some spring cleaning and decluttering also just kind of reinvigorate the place where you live and make you feel lighter even. I know this is just a small trash bag, but I've actually decluttered a lot over the past year and don't really have a lot these days to be donating, but I always go around the house to see if I can find anything new that I'm willing to part with. And my husband actually just went through his clothing too, so that bag was some of his stuff. This might sound weird, but now that the sun is setting later, one of my favorite parts of the day is when I'm sitting in the living room near sunset and I can just watch the shadows fall across the room. Another thing on my list that brings me quiet contentment is really appreciating the act of nourishing myself. And a lot of times when we're cooking, we're kind of just going through the motions. So, really appreciating the time and the care it takes for you to make food for yourself is just, it means so much. Often think about how we're showing love through our actions to others, but I feel like a lot of us don't really think about how we can show love to ourselves through our actions. It's not selfish to take care of yourself, and just in the way that you would want the people around you to know that you love them, I think we should be doing things to remind ourselves that we care about our body and well-being. Thank you for watching and spending this time with me. I hope you have a great day.